Oh, the wheels are going to come off of this so fast.
Welcome to Not the Podcast You Deserve. I'm Kyle.
Are we
the
starting
guy
right now?
Wearing the shirt that says Austin, that's Drew. The guy wearing the shirt that has the tiger on it, that's Will. And then the guy who's not wearing a shirt that says Austin and doesn't have a tiger, that's Austin.
What a terrible intro for listeners.
And if you're listening to this on Spotify, turn your phone sideways. You can see us.
Yeah, on Apple Podcast, they don't do the video yet. It's really tough. So for all of you listeners on Apple Podcasts, I don't know, find a better medium to.
Oh wait, can you upload a video to Spotify now and it actually shows
Jiminy Christmas. When's the last time you listened to us?
Do you know how to upload videos to Facebook?
I mainly listen via Instagram, if I'm honest.
YouTube's my medium, actually. No joke.
We're also on YouTube.
I don't listen to podcasts very often, but when I do, it's in short bursts on Instagram.
And always this one.
Perfect.
And usually this one.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, this is the main
Let me
one.
be clear. I listen to tons of podcasts on Spotify. It's not this one, though.
Just not this one.
I listen to this one on other social medias, and I'm so proud to be here.
Oh, yeah. Well, Baker, Austin, thanks for being here. Guys, we're talking about the best action movie of all time tonight. And each host submit their list of their top 25 favorite action movies. Something I thought was interesting, the only two movies did we all four vote on in our list of our top 25. John Wick and Die Hard are the only two movies.
Die Hard.
Die Hard
all of our lists. That was
I'm not surprised that both of those are on there. I am surprised that it's only two. That seems low.
We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the movies received 3 out of 4 of us voted them. And then Austin voted 2 movies very highly that made the top 24 list simply because they were voted so highly. And so we'll get to those. And I'm going to just give Austin the floor to let him go when we hit those. But when we do a 24 movie bracket, it gets kind of complicated for seating wise. So basically the top 8 movies get a bye. So your top 8 movies in order are John Wick, Die Hard, Boondock Saints, Terminator 2, The Matrix, Mission Impossible Fallout, Bourne Identity, and Inglourious Bastards. So and I'm going to have to bleep that word every time we say it. I just realized, I think.
No, you don't. No. Why would you? It's the name of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know if the spelling makes a difference or not. But so those are the top 8, and they receive a bye for this first round. Does anybody have any questions before we get started with the round of 24? Yeah, Baker.
How's everyone's day?
Drew, did you got something?
Unhelpful.
Who runs this podcast? Is there a managing body overhead that is like, no, you can't say bastards if it's in the title of the movie?
If not, I'd like to nominate myself. That's for sure.
You did this. You invited us on here. Baker and I have never
Drew's in. We did a third.
Baker and I have never been on this podcast at the same time, and I've always thought Kyle will never invite us both to be on the same podcast because he knows what will happen. And yet, here we are.
It took 200 episodes for us to work up the nerve to get this done.
There's been 200 episodes of this.
I thought we'd be further along than this by now. But here we are. We're fired up. Okay, guys, we're going to get started, if that's cool with everybody.
I actually have a legitimate question.
Yes.
Could you text us the list?
No, I'm not going to do that.
God,
the first round.
Bless America.
The first round is 16th seed The Rock versus 17th seed John Wick 4. And
wow.
I had both of these movies on my list. They were ranked one after the other. When I put my list together, I voted for The Rock above John Wick 4. But ever since I put my list together, I've been thinking about John Wick 4. And maybe it's recency bias, but I think that is like one of the best, like one of the most perfect action movies of all time. It's great from beginning to end. It's kind of got a Western, like samurai kind of like shoot 'em up. It kind of blends all those together into shotgun blasts of fireballs. And I don't know how you beat that. So I think I'm leaning John Wick 4 on this one, unless somebody needs to sway me.
I will say The Rock I voted for The Rock on this. I think I actually left John Wick 4 off my list because there are other John Wicks that I more highly favor. And
we'll get to some others here shortly.
Sure, yeah. But The Rock, to me, epitomizes what I think of the action genre. And it's maybe because it's the time I grew up in. But I think of like late 80s, 90s action movies with like a loosely defined plot, a lot of just like really cool one-liners, and then and then like strange threats of explosions that don't make a lot of sense. Sean Connery and Nick Cage are an unlikely duo that absolutely crush it. I think that John Wick 4 is an amazing action movie. Just sometimes I think things that are newer, that have better CGI, have better cameras that can capture a lot of the fight scenes. I think that they have a lot of legs up, right? And I think I want to handicap it a little bit, that if you try to make John Wick 4 at the same time that The Rock was made, there's no way that movie is nearly as good. But that's not the world we live in. That's not the world we live in. So I understand. But my heart wants to vote for The Rock.
The only thought I have on this is that I excluded both of these from my list. Did not have either. But I would far rather see The Rock advance, because I believe that there are better John Wicks, and that like one of the John Wicks would prevail past this, The Rock. And so just because I know for a fact that there's going to be multiple John Wicks that end up in this conversation, I'd rather see The Rock move forward over that. But they're both very good movies.
Which one do you think is a better movie?
Which one do I think is a better movie?
Yeah.
Like, which one would I turn on right now?
Yeah, which would you watch tonight?
I would watch The Rock tonight because it's not 3.5 hours long.
Okay.
But if it was like 5 p.m.
A hypothetical tonight where time is limitless.
Where time is limitless? Oh, man.
Just one.
Pick one.
I should have prefaced this. If you could at any point in time throughout this bracket just give us one straight answer, that would be huge. I'm just asking for one. In all of the matchups that we've got, if you could just one time be like, you know what, The Rock, that's the one I want, that would be big for morale.
Now, I've never seen The Rock, but I will talk at length about it.
And for that reason, I picked The Rock to watch over tonight. That's for sure. Because I know I'm going to have to do this at some point as well.
Austin?
I'm going to be Austin.
Do what? Oh, we're voting? I mean,
yeah.
I haven't seen The Rock, but I also think John Wick 4 is the second best John Wick movie. So those are my opinions.
I agree on that, and I'm also going John Wick 4, which brings us to our first tiebreaker of the night. And when we get a tiebreaker, I've got a list of action movie tropes, I guess, and we all have to just objectively look at the question and which one fits that answer the best. So, Austin, you're going to be the first one here. Pick a number between, well, I don't know, say 1 and 15.
7.
7. Okay, most annoying side character. Every good action movie, you've got a really annoying side character that you just kind of like could do without. Who's got the most annoying side character between The Rock and John Wick 4? Since you've never seen The Rock, I'm going to post this question to Crawford. Yeah.
Man, it's hard because everybody just has really cool stuff. Because like John C. McGinley is in The Rock, just being awesome. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of tough guy Marines that you're just like, I need you to shut up. Actually, you know what? I'll go with Womack. Womack from The Rock. The secret agent that goes and the FBI agent that goes and gets Sean Connery out of prison and like is trying to thwart him every step of the way, even though he's the one that like got him out. Yeah. Womack from The Rock.
I agree with that. That means The Rock moves on to the next round. Congratulations to The Rock and its family. I'm sad to see John Wick 4 go, but it is what it is at this point. The second matchup, John Wick 2 versus Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back.
What were the seeds on those?
This is seed 9, John Wick 2 versus seed 24, Star Wars Episode 5. Wow. Some people, I heard flack about how Star Wars is not an action movie. I say, screw you. Did you not see all the laser guns and lightsabers and such? And this is the one where they're on planet Hoth, and you got the big, what are the
AT-ATs
with Verizon Wireless is coming right behind them.
You nailed it.
The ads.
Those are my favorite. Yep. And so I really do love Star Wars. I think Star Wars is great. There's a lot of people on this list, not me, think that John Wick 2 is the best of the John Wicks. So Crawford, take it away.
Yeah, John Wick 2 is the best John Wick. That's an easy. That's an easy. There's only one John Wick that has Common in it, so I'll go ahead and have that.
At one point, I will say it's some of my favorite dialogue in the entire series is when John is outside when he's just killed that woman, and Common's like, John, you working tonight? And John's like, yeah. And Common's like, good night. And John's like, yeah. And then they both just fall to the ground. They just fall to the ground and just start shooting in a crowd of people at a music festival. And
is it a music festival or is it an? It feels like a
it's
party.
Like a rave. It's like a rave. Yeah, a music festival was.
It's a rave as part of the coronation. All right.
Yeah.
As she. All right.
What's one of the best things about John Wick is there's always a club in John Wick in that world, and it's always somewhere where you're like, God, that looks like a bad, rough place to be, even if you're just someone there and there's no violence.
Don't want to be there.
Doesn't look like fun. I don't know what it's
like this is. You showed up at this party because a friend that you just met invited you, and then you were like, what the hell am I doing here?
You learned a lot about that new friend.
Yeah, absolutely, big time.
I'm not hanging out with this guy anymore.
John Wick 2 is the first time that you see the world expand, truly. Like, this is the Continental is international. The underground world reaches far beyond. We get new things, not just coins, but now we get markers. You get the new inventions that come in. His whole scene with the sommelier, it's so good.
Do you like it more than Star Wars Episode 5?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's one. Baker, to you.
I mean, I struggle with this because I took a pretty conservative approach towards the rules that I was given in my list. And so I did not include Star Wars in my purview of action movies. And
because you thought it was animated, or because you thought it was a superhero movie? Because those were the only two instructions to disqualify.
Star Wars are action movies. Pirates of the Caribbean were on my list, and they are also action movies. You don't have to have a gun with a bullet for it to be an action.
I mean, I'm welcome to be wrong here, and I'm fine with that. And so if you ask me, and I'll be straightforward, would I rather watch John Wick 2 or Star Wars Empire Strikes Back? Empire Strikes Back every day.
Wow. Okay. Austin, to you?
I like John Wick 2, and I love when they're shooting at each other in that hallway when there's, again, just civilians all over the place.
Everywhere.
and they're both just kind of like... But I'm going to go with Star Wars for this one.
Oh, wow.
It's a tough match.
Okay. This is 2-1 Star Wars to John Wick. And Crawford, I'm really sorry. I'm also going Empire Strikes Back as the better of these action movies. That's going to be a great matchup in the next round.
Man.
So Empire Strikes Back moves on.
What a huge bummer. Matchup. John Wicks are really taking it in the shorts here early.
Well, yeah, I think there will be a comeback sooner rather than later. The next matchup, 13th seed, 300 versus 20th seed, Mad Max Fury Road. Now, Mad Max Fury Road made it onto this list in the 20th seed because Austin Chandler ranked it as his #1 favorite action movie. So, Austin, the floor is yours. Would you like to try to convince anybody else on Mad Max Fury Road?
No. Is that good podcast content, or what's the situation?
It's really good, yeah. No,
The
that's
defense
what
press.
we're looking for. That is the
I think
antithesis to what Baker does. Is perfect. Yeah.
I think Mad Max Fury Road is a absolute spectacle. They never used it. They used CGI in one scene in the whole movie. Everyone's costumes were handmade. All the cars were handmade. They filmed it in the desert. It's beautiful. The story is really interesting, and it's engaging from start to finish. But I don't care to try to convince anyone of anything. I love that movie, and I don't like 300 that much. So
Oh wow. Okay.
that's
I'm gonna go ahead
Drew?
and
Baker.
sorry, I'm interrupting. I'm gonna go ahead and do another straightforward answer here. I also picked Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh. Okay. Well,
that'll be good.
I did not see this coming.
It was the confidence of not needing a defense that it was like,
Yeah.
maybe it swayed him. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. Crawford, which way are you leaning on this?
I'm going to go with 300 because in my mind, that's another like tent pole of action movies. I think Mad Max is great, but I think there are a lot of action car movies. 300 stands alone in my brain as being original and different.
I'm with you.
Well,
On that.
I will say I don't think Mad Max is a car action movie, but I hear you. I hear.
Cars are definitely involved.
They're involved. They're involved for sure.
Baker, to you, pick a number between 1 and 16.
15.
Yeah, this one can be straightforward. Oh no! Okay, the tiebreaker on this one is the lowest kill count between these two movies, between 300 and Mad Max Fury Road. Austin, you're gonna have to help me here. How many people die in Mad Max Fury Road? It doesn't seem like a lot.
Probably between 40 and 60, if we're being pretty
That
generous.
is significantly less than 300. So
Yeah.
based on the rules that I created, 300 is about to be knocked out of the first round by Mad Max Fury Road. Okay, that was tough for me to wrap my head around, but I did it. And the 20th seed moves on. Look at us go. Boy, all right. The next round is 12th seed Skyfall versus the 21st seed Smokin' Aces. Now, if I may, give me a minute here, if I may. I know I'm with some big James Bond fans. And boy, don't we all love James Bond. I mean, if I had to put a list of my top 5 favorite spy franchise together, James Bond would not be on the list. So that's where I stand.
Name them. You do have to put together a list of your top 5 favorite spy franchises. Name them. Good Lord.
I'm so curious.
Criteria like that. Just say you don't like them.
Smokin' Aces is an incredible movie that features an all-star cast. Ben Affleck has like one line of dialogue. Jason Bateman is dressed up in a thong on a bed for the entire movie. It spawned Chris Pine's career. My goodness. It's incredible. It's such a good movie, and it's like the perfect action movie. Like all it is a bunch of guns and bombs and people dying, and Common's in this one too.
You stole my thunder. I was getting to it.
And Alicia Keys. How many other these movies have Alicia Keys? I don't know. It can't be many though. I'm the one who knows what's on the list. I could have double checked that beforehand. Pretty sure. Smokin' Aces is a great movie. It's gotta beat Skyfall. I'm a big Daniel Craig fan. I love what he does in all the Daniel Craig movies. He's great. It's got to be Smokin' Aces though, right? Somebody be with me on this.
I absolutely love Smokin' Aces.
God dang it.
It's one of my favorite movies. I watch it all the time. I watch it more than I watch Skyfall.
So you're going to vote Smokin' Aces.
But Skyfall as an action movie just
beautiful.
I think it checks more of the boxes.
Gorgeous.
Because
perfect from start to finish.
What do you need? Someone gets chainsawed in half in Smokin' Aces.
So
what
that's the thing. Is Smokin' Aces again is like more of just a giant shoot 'em up movie. It does have a cool twist in it, but Skyfall has a dramatic plot that goes through it, which is highlighted by some crazy cool action scenes.
It also came out right after the disaster of Quantum of Solace and blew everyone away. Like everyone was kind of like, I don't know about this whole Daniel Craig franchise. Casino Royale was awesome, but I don't know if but Skyfall was insane.
Aces came out right after the disaster that was Green Lantern. So I think ipso facto, same thing. Restored
No.
Ryan Reynolds' career. Actually,
Not
yeah,
at
that's
all.
true. Yeah.
I also would say that Skyfall, like from a action movie standpoint, has one of the all-time great action movie villains. Like,
Yeah.
just an awesome character.
When he walks
Awesome.
about 100 yards while making a speech at the same volume the entire time, and he's talking about rats the whole time.
Yep.
My God, what a moment!
Yeah.
What if Adele sang the theme song for Smokin' Aces?
Doesn't matter to me. I always skip the theme song when I watch James Bond movies. So
Yeah, I mean, and to me
Agreed.
too, it like a James
That's like
Bond
the one
movie.
thing that franchise has going for it, and you skip it. Unbelievable.
The one thing that franchise.
I
Oh
will
my
say,
God.
I recently watched GoldenEye for the first time in 10 years, and that movie is
It's terrible. Thank you.
pure, unadulterated.
If you want to have a great laugh, you should watch A View to Kill, where Christopher Walken is the bad guy. That
Yeah,
one
it's
is
rough.
great.
You
I
can't
mean-
even have a good laugh during GoldenEye. You will be bored out of your mind during
Skyfall-
GoldenEye. And that's the biggest sin of any action movie. You want to be stupid? Fine. I can have fun with stupid. If you're boring, it's over. It's over.
I was not bored once in Smokin' Aces, not for a single second.
I was bored the whole
Well,
time.
that's not the question here. The
I've never-
question isn't were you bored in either
Oh,
movie?
the
It's
voice
which
of
one's
reason,
better.
Baker. Yes, come to us. Yes.
Hey,
What's your
Kyle.
vote, Baker.
Eat my.
Kyle, eat. And just so you have to bleep it one more time.
Dang it.
Smoking ass.
More like that. Yeah, I picked.
Yeah,
I
more
picked
like
Skyfall.
smoking.
Oh,
Anyway,
I picked Skyfall.
I like Skyfall better.
I do too. I think Drew does also. So
why
Smoking
did I
Aces
do this
loses.
to myself?
Moving on to the next one. Kyle, what's next?
I did this to myself. Oh, good. More James Bond. Okay, 15th seed Men in Black versus 18th seed Casino Royale. Now, I will say one
Oh,
thing about James Bond.
Dang.
Casino Royale is a really good movie. I didn't like any of the other ones that he did. I didn't see this last one at all because I was just tapped out. I don't think I saw Quantum of Solace either. Either way.
Well, it's a terrible
Men in Black,
movie,
though.
so.
Oh, okay. Well, Men in
Quantum
Black.
of Solace is regarded as the worst James Bond film of our lifetimes. It is
Oh,
a
wow.
train wreck.
Big time.
Oh,
It's
boy.
bad.
Okay. Well, Men in Black, Will Smith. Oh, man. What is Agent K's name?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Thank you. Tommy Lee Jones. Will Smith. Rip Torn. I'm
Yep.
sure other people. Rosario Dawson in that one, or is she in the second one? I think she's in the second one. Anyways, yeah. Men in Black's great. Casino Royale is more of an action movie, I think, from like what I think of as an action movie. That's a pretty good matchup, though. I'm willing to listen to arguments either way.
Go ahead,
You
Baker.
Yep, you can.
I also have a
Free to
simple
speak.
answer on this one, and it's Men in Black 1. And on that note, I have to use the Wiz Palace, so I'll be back in a second.
Mute your microphone.
Okay, that's one for Men in Black. Drew?
Sorry, I was muting him as a safety precaution. Because as much as we say, we still need to keep it, PG.
You don't want to be in. You don't want to be in there in the bathroom with somebody. You know.
No,
I mean,
no.
yeah.
I think this is a pretty good matchup. I don't think I would have voted for either of these against many of the other ones that have come before it. So this was a good pairing for them. I'm interested to see what happens in the next round. But I think I'll also go Men in Black.
Okay. Austin, to you.
I think I got to go Casino Royale, even though I love Men in Black, and I also think it's a phenomenal matchup. I do think it's not that action-y, and I also think Casino Royale, that's the thing, Kyle, is I think James Bond was ridiculous and not that great until Casino Royale. And I think it completely changed the tone of those movies. And so I'm going with Casino Royale. But I think
You know what?
So,
You know what? I will now change my mind because I'm thinking about the opening scene in Casino Royale where he's doing the parkour and he's chasing the guy through the construction
Runs
site.
through
He
the
just
wall.
bust through the wall.
And
Yeah.
it has that black and white scene before that when he becomes a 007 agent for the first time, and that guy's like, "Oh, James," and he pulls out his gun and he's like, "You're so good, but I'm gonna kill you." And James is like, "I already knew where your gun was." And then it's on as it were.
That was awesome. Yeah, I changed my vote. Casino Royale.
Okay, and simply because I don't want to use another tiebreaker, I'm going Casino Royale also. Casino Royale advances to the next round. 18th
I love it
seed
when that
down to
happens.
15th seed. We've had
I tried my
mainly
best.
upsets thus far. Yeah. In the next round, Django Unchained, which is the 10th seed, versus the 23rd seed, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Wow.
Now, another kind of unconventional action movie. I do love Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I love Django Unchained. I think I said John Wick 4 might be like the perfect action movie earlier, but Django Unchained is like the perfect Western revenge story. And my vote's for Django Unchained, and I don't think it's that close, as much as I do love Indiana Jones.
And this has to be like the matchup of unconventionals. Like Django is not. I don't think people would immediately jump to this, and I also voted for this, and I think that Kyle and I are the reason why it's on there. So, but I will say I think it's the matchup of like unconventional actions. I love both of them. They're both fun. I am also voting for Django because it's pretty perfect.
I just need one more. I just need one more from one of you. Somebody come.
I'm
through for me,
going.
huh?
I'm going with Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay. Yep. You were not the one I was looking
It
for.
spawned an iconic character. The song is awesome.
Was he whining?
Yeah.
Was he whining?
Was he whining? Do you think?
Do you think the dog was whining?
He was whining, maybe. Hey, was he whining? Hey, Baker.
Hey,
Baker,
Baker,
was
the
he
dog
whining? Was he whining? Was he whining?
Yeah.
Well, like, was he?
All right. Anyway, my vote's with Raiders.
Whose was it? Crawford, did you vote yet?
Drew.
Me,
Yeah.
I haven't voted. My heart is torn.
Mm-hmm.
I put Django on this list. I didn't put Raiders. I did put another Indiana Jones because I love Indiana Jones.
Yep.
And I think The Last Crusade is like a work of cinema history.
Okay.
But I want like Indy to be represented.
He already made the bracket. He's already on here, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
he's the 23rd seed. Like, good for you, Harrison Ford.
But he may not get my support again
I'll
when,
go
when it's his third film.
I'll go with Django. I think it was
Django!
an interesting way for Tarantino to tell a Western, and it was really awesome. I thought Jamie Foxx crushed it.
Pew, pew. Okay, good news. Good news. Django moves on. The next round, the next matchup is the 14th seed Gladiator versus 19th seed Armageddon. And before you guys just shout out your answer,
this is the perfect thing that could have happened to you.
This is my worst nightmare, is having to pick between these two movies.
Gladiator.
Okay, so I have a couple notes. The first one is I picked Gladiator, and the second of a couple is that I think Armageddon sucks.
It's the best movie of all time.
And Dale, if you're listening, I mean, it's not even an action movie. Where's the act? There's one gun.
There's a nuclear warhead explodes. What do you do with a gun in space?
I'm bored already.
The half the planet gets blown up by meteorite. I mean, what are we talking about? It doesn't get much more action than that.
That's an Armageddon movie. Oh, wait, that's the name of it.
Anyway, I go with
Drew. Help me here. Come on.
Kyle, do you want to go ahead and stand for Armageddon? Do you want to give Armageddon its time in the sun?
Oh, just do it. Just put a bullet in its head. Just let it go off to the pasture.
Well, first of all, let me shake the hand of the son of the bravest man I've ever known.
And then let me shoot him.
Because this is Gladiator through and through.
Oh,
yeah.
That's real sad for me, but I get it. Man, Armageddon will get its day in the sun on this podcast.
I don't think it will. I think it's going to get less and less popular over our lifetimes.
Until the remake.
Crawford, this one's going to infuriate you. I hope you're ready for this.
Okay.
No, this is going to make you mad. 11 seed, The Raid Redemption versus the 22nd seed, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest, which Austin is, I believe, the third movie in that franchise.
No, it's the second one.
It's the second movie, like I was just saying. The second movie in that franchise, which we all love. And my vote is for The Raid Redemption. It's one of the best hand-to-hand combat movies of all time. Hundreds of thousands of people meet their doom by just some fists. It's a great movie. I love The Raid Redemption. Crawford, you gonna also vote for The Raid Redemption?
I mean, Pirates does have a Skarsgård, and as I like to say, there's always a Skarsgård.
Yeah.
But no, I'm gonna tie a bootstrap to or a cannonball to bootstraps, and send that to the depths, because Raid Redemption through and through.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, as a known expert of both of these movies, who's seen
I'm gonna
them
go.
both multiple times.
I'll go ahead. I just would like to say a few words about Dead Man's Chest before we kill it and send it to the bottom of the sea. This is my letterbox. This is my letterbox review, word for word.
Okay.
This movie kicks so much. The plot alone is absolutely absurd. It involves an aging sea captain who secretly once made a deal with Davy Jones as he attempts to do whatever possible to escape judgment, only to fail tremendously. Along the way, he is the chief of a tribe of indigenous islanders who want to eat him. He receives 3 days from Davy Jones to attempt to find, quote, 100 souls for Jones rather than give up his own. And he takes a still beating heart out of an ancient chest and stuffs it in a jar of dirt, only for a long beleaguered rival to steal said heart just after a sword fight that involved balancing on a mill's wheel as it careened down a tropical hill, narrowly avoiding the horde of oceanic humanoid monsters chasing after them. It is insane, it is beautiful, and it is my favorite Pirates movie. And that's all I'll say before it dies.
This podcast brought to you by Letterboxd.
And as an expert of both movies, I would like to also say that I agree with everything Austin said.
Yep.
Because it's the only one I've seen. And so I don't know if my vote counts.
Hey, The Raid is on my Letterboxd list, but I haven't gotten there.
Look, this hurts me. This cuts real deep.
I knowingly choose to abstain from this vote for the sake of fair. But the commissioner has to allow that. Oh, I'm the commissioner.
That's allowed. No, yeah, that's definitely allowed. And the Raid Redemption moves on. Congratulations, the 11th seed. The Raid Redemption. Guys, that was the first round. How are we feeling? Is everybody good?
I'm sick to my stomach and pissed off.
Mad Max Fury.
It only gets worse from here. It only gets worse from here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's take a quick minute to go through some honorable mentions that did not make it all the way through to the final 24. Hot Fuzz received 2 votes. Aliens, Nobody received 2 votes as well. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mission Impossible, both Kill Bills. John Wick 3 received a vote. Bad Boys 2, Rambo, RRR, Kill Bill Volume 2, some more Mission Impossibles. You know what's shocking to me is the lack of Schwarzenegger and Stallone that made our list, our top 24, which I think just shows that we were born in the early 90s and not the early 80s, if nothing else. But we'll get to the Sweet 16 here. The first matchup is number 1 seed John Wick versus the 16th seed The Rock. And man, I'm glad The Rock won the first round, but I don't see it beating John Wick. Somebody can try to change my mind.
No, I'm going with John Wick.
John Wick.
Welcome to The Rock.
Yeah.
Rockford also votes for John Wick, just to be clear.
I do, yeah. There's so many. I think there's so many better quotes out of The Rock, but John Wick is a better action movie.
Well, too bad you guys have already done the quotable, and Armageddon somehow got its day in the sun then.
Yeah. The next round, 24th seed, Star Wars Episode 5 versus the 8th seed Inglourious Bastards. I did not vote for either of these movies in the previous round.
Huh.
I will let you guys.
Strong round right there.
Very different movies. I don't know if there's 2 more opposite movies that you can find.
It's a difficult thing. That's the hard thing about choosing best in the end, is that sometimes there's 2 movies that were trying to accomplish different goals, and they accomplished them perfectly, but you got to pick one, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the tragedy.
I'll lead it off by saying I only included one of these on my list, and it's because I egregiously overthought the rules and would happily pass Star Wars on. And so I'm going to put Star Wars beyond Inglourious Bastards because I would much, if I'm picking what I want to watch, I'd rather watch Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, Baker's vote's in. Drew.
I agree with Austin that these are two great movies that accomplish and define a genre, and they're just wildly, wildly different movies. I'm also gonna go with Star Wars.
Oh boy!
I think there might be an upset of brewing. Laser guns and lightsabers and force choking and bounty hunters. Let's go.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. Is he in the second one? They're in the episode 5?
Who?
Doesn't matter.
Yes.
Boba Fett? Yeah.
He's
in he goes to Cloud City to pick up his
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's the end of the movie.
Prize.
Lando Calrissian.
One of the best one of the best action cool guy lines of all time with "I love you" and just saying like I know.
Yeah. Well, it's the whole movie's too iconic. Like, I love Inglourious Bastards, but like, I mean, you just said Kill Bill 2 is an honorable mention. I think Kill Bill and Kill Bill 2 are Tarantino's definitive action movies. Like more than Django and Bastards. So I also am sticking with I'll go with Empire as well.
It's a clean sweep. Wow. The 24th seed moves on. Look at it go. The next round is the 4th seed, The Matrix, versus the 20th seed, Mad Max Fury Road. Now, I might have already said this twice. The Matrix, I will say it again though. The Matrix is like the perfect movie. It's such a great movie. And we'd never seen anything like it. Well, I say we weren't at the movie theaters when we were 7, but the first time I saw it, I had never seen anything like it. And my vote is for The Matrix, and I don't think this one's particularly close. But judging that Mad Max is Austin's number 1 seed, I think I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna have to fight for it.
I doubt it.
I abstain until further notice.
I'm going to go ahead and play by my rule now and say that I'll just vote for the one I've seen and vote for The Matrix. So
okay, it counts now. Yes, this time it counts. Crawford, to you.
I think The Matrix is the most perfect blend of sci-fi and action, and set a standard that many movies have chased for decades about how to be so cool. Also, still quoted this day. I know kung fu, so you know,
or guns, lots of guns.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with The Matrix.
I'm not going to vote because I like one much better, but you know, The Matrix has contributed a lot to the genre. You know, a lot. So that's all I got.
That cat is super cute.
Thanks, man. She does this about twice a day. It's pretty.
Oh. What's the cat's name?
This is Gem, Gem for the Gem State. That's Idaho.
Jimbo.
We got her. Jimbo. Jennifer
State.
Aniston. We call her lots of names.
Jim and the holograms.
There they go. The one.
Oh,
A new one.
Memories. Oh.
Keeps showing a butthole, that's for sure.
Yeah, they love. That's one thing about cats. They love showing you their buttholes. It's not my favorite thing about them.
The next matchup is the 12th seed Skyfall versus the 5th seed Terminator 2. Both of these movies, I think, are extremely overrated. So I'm not sure which one. Although Terminator 2, you get T99. What's his name? Did I get it right?
Terminator 2 is an iconic movie that redefined the action movie franchise with its use of CGI, and I will vote for Terminator 2 over Skyfall.
I wasn't looking at my screen. I was just assuming you were again reading your letterboxed review of the movie.
I can tell you my review of that one. It's, quote, nice to have a friend out there.
I adore.
In the first one, the Terminator is not your friend, but in the second one, he's your buddy, and that's nice.
I do think that's my favorite part about T2 is like the total turnaround of they were like, well, if we want to keep Schwarzenegger like in this franchise, he can't continue to just be trying to kill because he has to like succeed in what he's trying to do.
Well, also in the first one, they're like, hey, he shot like 30 police officers and destroyed their station. So I don't know if we can do that again. I think maybe once is enough.
The thing about T2 is all of the iconic like Terminator lines do not originate in Terminator 1.
I'll be back does.
They originate. Does it?
Yeah, he goes, I'll be back, and then he drives a car into a police station.
Yeah.
He just says it again. That's what he's saying,
I'll be back about. I'll be right back.
He just says it again in Terminator 2, but it's more like nostalgic. Okay, so Hasta La Vista, baby.
Ever made.
Whatever, Kyle. I just am full on board with Terminator 2. I love both these movies, but T2 Judgment Day is forever a top for me. It's so good.
It's a staple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just the hand going into the lava.
I mean, the hand. That's let's all do it together. That's me voting
for T2, baby.
I'm in for.
And when you're on Spotify, you'll see this clearly.
And if you're not, what's happening is we're all doing the thumbs up from Terminator 2 at the end.
But slowly.
Except for Kyle.
Yeah. Yes. And the next matchup, 2nd seed Die Hard versus the 18th seed Casino Royale. Again, my James Bond friends, I'm happy for you guys that we got 2 into the 2nd round. Fired up about it. Die Hard, though, with Bruce Willis and Hans Gruber and Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon. That's going to be a tough one to beat on this list for your boy here.
Doesn't he say mother?
I'm pretty sure it's mother.
He says mother during that part, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think it's Yippee-ki-yay.
I know.
Had so much fun with that.
I think Dale also would say that the line is Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
Hey, you keep Dale's name out your mouth. Don't you profane him like that.
Dale. I just think he's smarter than that to mistake it for Mr. Falcon. Who's that? What is Mr. Falcon?
I don't remember Mr. Falcon from the film. And I would have picked Die Hard, but now that we brought up this Mr. Falcon character, I'm
a little confused. Little confusing, to be honest.
I'm maybe thinking I saw a different movie at this point.
Because I always thought that the line was mother Mr. Falcon.
God dang it.
God what?
But if it's not mother it's Mr. Falcon, I think I'm gonna have to reconsider.
We got it.
Oh, all right. Anyway, my pick is Die Hard.
I second Die Hard.
Oh, yippee-ki-yay. I think that's the line I think about more than anything from that movie. I don't know why. More than Mr. Falcon.
It is out of nowhere. The fact that you're like, he's like, what's going on? And he's like, I shot a kid. And you're like, oh, dang.
So much sadder. Alan Rickman as a bad guy, though. I'm in always.
Yeah, forever. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. to a real one.
Mm-hmm. So Die Hard for me. Mr. Falcon.
Mr. Falcon, send it up.
I will never not think of Mr. Falcon.
Oh, Mr. Falcon, may you soar off into the clouds.
Can't wait to be driving around and be like, that Mr. Falcon just cut me off.
That little 4 minutes right there is going to take me 2 hours to edit before posting. Love it. I'm fired up. Yeah.
That's why we're here, Betty.
Yeah. The next round is 10th seed Django Unchained versus 7th seed Mission Impossible Fallout. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm going to go with Mission Impossible Fallout.
Okay, well, there's one.
Be quick.
This is the Henry Cavill one, yeah? Where he's the bad guy.
Where they have to CGI his mustache.
They also do the halo jump, the plane jump that had never been done on camera. And Tom Cruise flies a helicopter through the mountains.
the thing after he climbs up the cargo bay thing, the net, and then kills everyone on the motorcycle
Ethan Hunt does
or on
that.
the helicopter.
Ethan Hunt does that, but Tom Cruise flew a helicopter through those mountains alone in that helicopter.
Yes.
It was
the thing I really like about this Mission Impossible movie is they, all these action movies in the franchises, as you go further, they have to like adapt and create new like fun ways of like doing spy stuff and action stuff. So in this one, when you think that like they've got the good guy and like, oh, like it's about the bad guy's about to win, he all of a sudden pulls off a mask and it's a different person underneath the mask than what you thought. And it's incredible how they keep adding and expanding on the cool stuff they do in this franchise. There's always new stuff, which is what I really love about the Mission Impossibles.
This is
Which one are
probably
you
the-
voting for? You're being obnoxious. Which one are you voting for?
I'm being obnoxious. We just had 7 minutes of bleep-worthy content, but that was obnoxious. Okay, I'm voting for Django Unchained. There we go.
What
1-1. You what?
This is I just asked what bleep words. This is probably the first time we've really encountered like what's I think a better movie versus what I think is a better action movie. And I love both of these. And it's probably a recency bias because I've watched Fallout recently for the first time and the second and third time, like in the last 6 months. And I think I'm picking Fallout. I'm picking Fallout because I think it is a better one. And I think it is the best representation of a Mission Impossible movie. So I
do think it's the best Mission Impossible movie. I don't know. The first one's pretty good too.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that the first one holds a candle to Fallout.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna go like, oh, this franchise never does anything new, and you watch those movies back to back, and you tell me, oh, the first one,
Good
it's
point.
the same movie. Like, no,
it's not even
the stunts in Fallout are crazy. Also, Kyle, I don't know what you're talking about because at one point Henry Cavill cocks his arms and then a
Yes.
pocket appears on his shirt. So, pretty cool spy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that GIF is awesome of him just going. Like, I'm ready.
And
to fight.
truly, the Halo jump had never been done on camera. The helicopters are being flown by the actual actor on screen. Those stunts are crazy. I mean, much elevated for the franchise.
I do really like the Mission Impossible franchise, but I feel like they only get one right about every 4 movies. So they got the original one, and then they got Fallout. So we're about due for Dead Reckoning 2. We're almost back due.
No.
Something that will be good.
Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna vote for Mission Impossible Fallout. I think this is an amazing action movie. I also love the first one, but to y'all's point, they are entirely different movies.
Yeah.
The first one has like the train scene, and then they have the like intense like I'm hanging just above the ground.
Yeah.
That one's not really like an action scene. It's more of like a, oh man, can Jean Reno like hold this rope or not? The next matchup is Boondock Saints, which is the 3 seed, versus the 14th seed Gladiator. I don't think I'm gonna have to fight too hard for this one. Boondock Saints is like all-time great cult classic shoot 'em up action movie. I love that one. What about you? What do you think, Drew?
I think Boondock Saints is a weird one to be like in the action, but I voted for it very highly. It's a very niche or niche film, however you want to tell me to say that, internet.
I think it's Reprise.
Yeah, you're right. Gladiator, I think, is an iconic action movie. I think Boondock Saints is one that people haven't quite heard of, and they need to because it's fantastic. There is a lot of talking that goes on through it that's just like feels like Dead Space, but then cut immediately to some crazy shoot 'em ups. So I'm gonna go with Boondock Saints.
Feels like I will disagree with you pretty strongly that like yeah, it was a cult classic, but it feels like pretty clearly now like Boondock Saints is hugely popular.
I agree.
And like it's not niche, it's not anything, it's just really popular. Gladiator is a well constructed movie. And it's like cinema, it's got like cool artsy whatever. Boondock Saints is a better action movie because it 90% consists of like 2 drunk Irish brothers running around Boston killing people. Like And
Also, Willem
like,
Dafoe's character in that movie is incredible. Like
nuts.
one of the best characters like ever. He's
Like,
great.
Just his descent into madness.
Yeah.
There's I would say, like, from a like just a proportion of the movie, there's a lot more action in Boondock Saints than there is in Gladiator. There's a lot more story in Gladiator than there is in Boondock Saints. But I think Boondock Saints is a better action movie.
That's
Okay.
3.
That's 3. Austin, did you want to say anything about Gladiator on its behalf?
I've never seen Boondock Saints, and I think everything that you're all saying sounds correct. I don't think Gladiator. I mean, I agree. I don't think it's that strong of an action movie. I think it's an iconic film, and they did some incredible stuff to make it. But
You should see. They should put that on your list. That one's fun.
Boondock Saints is very fun.
Let's see. The next one is 11th seed, The Raid Redemption versus 6th seed, The Bourne Identity. Yeah.
Just me?
Well, you definitely. I think you voted as your number 1, right?
Yeah, sure did.
And you hadn't seen the other movie.
No,
and neither was Austin. So this is gonna be fun. I can't sit through the Bourne trilogy movies, however many there are, without like needing to vomit because I get seasick. I think all the shaky hand is so shaky. So I didn't like my experience with the Bourne movies. You really love the Bourne movies. Will you tell us a little bit about it? Why do you love the Bourne movies so much?
I think it's a really cool, like, I think it's a good story for an action movie, period. I think that the idea of a man coming to grips with who he was without knowing that and, like, unraveling that, interspersed with insane action sequences, is really cool. And then there's some fun action movie elements that I've talked about before, maybe not on this podcast, but in Bourne Identity, he kills a man with a pen, and Bourne Supremacy, Supremacy, he kills a man with a newspaper, and in Bourne Ultimatum, he kills a man with a book. And so there's like an evolution of like the written word there with pen, newspaper, book. I think that's pretty neat. I also just am very nostalgic about those movies. And I've never seen The Raid, so I can't really, like, I can't fully vote, but I will I will say Bourne Identity is an all-time classic, and it did also save Matt Damon's career, because it's post-Grosse Point Blank, pre his resurgence. He had a couple flops, and you can hear him talk about, like, repeatedly on interviews, podcasts, whatever, that Bourne Identity is kind of his last-ditch effort, and it ends up being a blockbuster classic.
Did you mean Good Will Hunting?
Yeah.
Did I say Grosse Point Blank?
Grosse Point
You
Blank?
did.
Sorry, I meant
Good Will
Hunting. He did Good Will Hunting. Thank you.
Gotcha. It's like, man, I need to see Grosse Point Blank again. I just remember John Cusack, and that's about it.
I wanted
Minnie
to vote
Driver,
for Grosse
who
Point
was
Blank.
also in Good Will Hunting. That's the connection.
Yeah.
There we go.
I
wanted to vote for Grosse Point Blank in this, but I already convinced Kyle to dedicate a whole episode to that, and so I wasn't going to talk about it any further. So,
fair enough. Drew.
I think that I really like the Bourne franchise. I think it's an interesting mix between spy and action. I do think the stuff that's the coolest about Bourne, which is like his hand-to-hand fighting and stuff. That you're like, whoa, he just looks like a random guy that all of a sudden has like kung fu like written into his DNA. He just is like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just kicking your. The Raid Redemption is that on steroids. If you want to see people fight, you watch The Raid Redemption. The Bourne can't hold a candle to it, and I do really like the Bourne Identity. I think it's better than the other two. I think that they get even more into the shaky stuff. And that, gets me a little like nauseous, but I'm going to go with the Raid Redemption because I think it is like one of the pinnacles of action fighting movies. And it also has a beautiful story of like brother trying to save and redeem another brother. So if you're looking for like, not just stabby stab, shoot 'em up, this is actually like got a thoughtful thing below it. But then just a dressing of so much stabby stab shooty shoot.
So that is 1-1. Austin?
I hate the Bourne movies. I love Baker, but I hate.
After all
Bourne
I've done
movies.
for you.
You did something earlier that was, you betrayed me. I can't remember what it was, but now I'm pissed about it again. So, yeah. Anyway, I think the Bourne movies are all one gray slog, and
Yeah.
I've never seen the Raid Redemption though. So I'm gonna bow out. I'm gonna abstain from voting and leave this to the people.
That's very kind of you. I'm also going Raid Redemption, and that will push it through to the next round. So here we are in the Elite Eight. The first matchup is John Wick versus Star Wars, Episode 5.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah,
You still my heart.
Yeah, I think I'm also voting John Wick, but like it's closer than I thought it would be.
Star Wars is iconic. It's just not quite an action movie. John Wick.
It's at this point. It's at this point that I do not pick Star Wars anymore. I'm sorry.
Nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah, no, you crushed that. That was really good.
He almost ran out of batteries for a second, but he saved.
Charge them back up here. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I cared way more about Daisy dying than about the Tauntaun dying. So it's got to be John Wick for me.
That's the reason, and that's
the
pushed
reason.
it right over the edge.
Yeah, they're pretty neck and neck, but when his Tauntaun dies before he gets to the first marker, I didn't care.
You felt nothing. You know?
Well, I did think they smelled worse on the outside, but
You beat me to it. I was gonna. Oh, that's tough. That is tough. Okay, John Wick moves on. The next matchup is The Matrix versus Terminator 2. And man, good matchup here. But I think it's The Matrix. It's The Matrix. The Matrix for me. I love The Matrix. What a great movie.
The Matrix.
Are good.
Some have said that The Matrix wouldn't exist without T2. So I'm going to go with T2.
Oh,
and
wow.
I
Okay.
also am going to pick T2 Judgment Day because, yeah, it's a way better movie and it's not even close in my head.
whoa.
I agree.
Oh wow.
I'm
Really?
going with The Matrix because I think it's one of the greatest action movies of all time. I think Bullet Time is so cool. I think Lawrence Fishburne is the best. It's got to be The Matrix, and I can't wait to see what the tiebreaker is going to be.
Drew,
Terminator 2, both the shoulders that the Matrix are standing on, or whatever
Good.
the expression
You nailed
is.
it. You nailed it.
Drew, pick a number between 1 and 16.
4.
4. Oh no. Highest kill count is the tiebreaker here. Both of these movies have a pretty high body count.
Man, I don't know the specifics are hard. You know, it's easier when it's like, well, this one had a dozen and this one had 1,000. But both of these, it's kind of ambiguous.
I feel like it's John Wick. When he goes into the club,
Don't
and
think
just murders.
John Wick is involved in the situation.
Oh, I'm
We're talking
sorry.
about the Matrix.
I zoned
The
out.
Matrix?
All right. I was thinking about Keanu Reeves with guns, and I just went immediately into John Wick.
And who among us?
Who among us hasn't
So
mixed up
here's-
these two movies?
It's happening.
I've only seen the Matrix once. Okay.
Oh,
I
wow.
personally believe that virtual lives should not count.
Wow.
Well,
Wow. You're saying that on the internet, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come
I
at
am.
me. Come kill me, internet.
Come at me, Chat GPT.
You don't want to. That's how you get Terminator 2 showing up
Hashtag.
and ChatGPT is going to spawn the Terminator.
Kyle, were you listening to us?
Not even not for 1 second.
Oh boy. What do you say to critics who say you could have looked that up like earlier, you know?
Yeah, I could have. You know what? I could have for every possible movie scenario count. I could have done that. That is
That's
right.
what you should have done.
Considering you sent your list in 30 minutes before we recorded.
Here it comes,
I
boys.
could have.
Here
Except
comes
for
the
2
drama.
movies, you didn't include either of them.
This
So let's,
is-
you know,
Weirdly,
Just real quick,
the
Drew did say that he didn't count virtual lives, and so he picked Terminator 2 as real
I don't really
lives.
care what Drew says. I just looked up that here Terminator. Oh, so actually this is weird. The Matrix kill count is only 27, is what IMDb listed as. So I was like, Terminator 2 is going to blow that away. Sure didn't. Only 20 in the Terminator 2. Weird. I would not have thought that was even close to possible. I'm also not going to fact check anymore. The Matrix moves on. Incredible. How do they do it? How do they keep surviving? It doesn't make any sense. The next round is Die Hard versus Mission Impossible Fallout.
Ooh.
Die Hard. I picked Die Hard. It's Die Hard for me.
What about when Hans Gruber takes his mask off and it turns out he was actually Snape the whole time? What did you think about that?
Didn't love it.
Okay.
Did not love it.
I think I also picked Die Hard.
I'll be the lone person picking Fallout and die on the hill.
Drew, did you vote already?
I did not. Ooh, I'm torn. I'm torn real hard.
I'm just predicting where Drew's gonna land when I say I'll die on the hill.
I don't think Drew's torn.
I really am, because I love Mission Impossible Fallout. I think it's one of the coolest action movies, but I think Die Hard is maybe the most iconic action movies. It's the one I think of without fail when someone's like, name an action movie. That's the first one that comes to my head. So I think I'm going to go with Die Hard.
I'm fine with that.
Die Hard wins. It goes on to the next round. And the next matchup is the Boondock Saints versus the Raid Redemption.
Oh, no.
2 classic cult movies. That's a tough one for your boy. Baker's never seen The Raid Redemption. Austin's never seen The Raid Redemption.
And I've never seen Boondock Saints, so
yeah, this one's pretty tough for the votes because like I feel like I get half a point. So
man, I do.
Welcome to Not the Podcast You Deserve, where the votes don't matter and we make them up as we go anyway. So
points are made.
That is what's happening. I mean,
the rules are made up and the points don't matter.
I want to be very clear. You're acting like, there's a scoring system. That is what's happening. That's exactly
it's pretty subjective.
Yep. Man, I don't really know yet. Drew, do you have a vote yet?
Yeah, I'm going to go with The Raid Redemption because Boondock Saints is an awesome movie, but The Raid Redemption is the perfect action movie.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Baker, you've only seen Boondock Saints. You're going Boondock Saints. Austin, you're abstaining because you've never seen either. It's a lot of pressure on me. Kind of wish I just blurted one out earlier, and now I wouldn't be feeling this. I'm going Raid Redemption. And that's 11 seed that's making into the Final Four. That's cool. I'm fired up for that. Okay, the Final Four, the last 4 remaining. We've got, here it is. John Wick versus The Matrix.
John Wick.
Wick. Oh,
The Matrix.
Yeah, right?
No.
John Wick.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
No, I told you John Wick 2 is the best John Wick.
That's fine, but like, I mean, do you think that any Matrix movie is better than any John Wick movie?
Yeah, I
think that could be the case. I think there's some bad John Wicks, but I think John Wick is better than Matrix.
It's definitely better than the second John Wick. It's close to. It might be better than the third John Wick.
It's definitely better than the third.
Or it's definitely been the third. Yeah,
John.
It might be better than the second. Man, I love The Matrix. That's a great movie. It's a perfect action movie. John Wick is pretty great. What do we have? We had 2 for The Matrix and 2 for John Wick and 1 for The Matrix. You know what? Screw it. Let's do it. Just send it to a tiebreaker. Austin, pick a number between 1 and 16.
I hate tiebreakers. They suck.
What did you say?
I said I hate tiebreakers. They suck.
Not you, Austin.
That'd be 13.
No way. Do you know what the 13th one is? Do you know what the 13th tiebreaker is?
But yeah, we have to, because then otherwise we can't move on to the next.
Yeah.
2 movies.
It is the saddest dog death.
Oh my
Yeah!
You can't beat it.
Oh yeah.
That's perfect.
It is the saddest dog death.
Baker, we did it, baby. We did it.
Oh my gosh.
Overtime goal to end it.
Yeah.
Holy
That's
cow.
amazing.
That was amazing. I
Can
put that
ask-
on there just like I thought it would be funny if it was a matchup that had nothing to do with John Wick and you got that in there. The fact that it was to send John Wick to the finals is hysterical.
I was gonna ask, is there another action movie with dog death?
No, I thought it would just be really funny if that was like to break the tiebreaker between Die Hard and a Mission Impossible, and it ended up being for John Wick. That's tough.
I have to imagine one of those dogs in Gladiator died.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But it wasn't that sad, you know. I mean, they're just, you know, dogs.
Trying
like
to
John Wick's
kill our
dog.
hero. Yeah.
That's the symbol of his dead wife.
Boy.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
Well, be seeing you, Neo.
Don't worry, Neo. We'll see you again in the John Wick movie.
The next matchup is Die Hard versus The Raid Redemption.
I'm gonna go with Die Hard.
It's Die Hard.
I pick Die Hard personally, and I am voting this time. Die Hard.
It's Die Hard.
Man, I don't know. The Raid Redemption's pretty great.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
you know,
But
for
you
a
know in
fact-
your heart.
Yeah, you know what genre defining is, and that's
Yeah,
what Die
sure
Hard
is.
is.
Yeah, when it comes to logic, I do not listen to you anymore, Beck. That is 3 rounds ago. That has been gone. I love
Yeah,
that
fair
you're
enough.
talking though. It's good. It kills the dead space. I love that. Crawford, where are you going?
I'm gonna go with Die Hard.
Oh, it doesn't matter anyways.
But if
Those
you'd
were
like to know about the
Redemption.
Raid Redemption, listen to our review podcast on it.
Yeah,
We found a following in Indonesia because of it.
we sure did. That's
Nice.
right. In the final round, the final matchup is first seed John Wick versus second seed Die Hard. I guess it was always meant to be this way. I hate it when a 1 and a 2 seed meet up at the finals, you know? That just kind of seemed like we copped out. But I mean, we had a 24 seed make it way, way far. We had
Sure.
an 11 seed in the final four. You know, it's
Kyle,
okay.
these are also the only 2 that made it in our list, right? Like in everybody's
These
list.
are the only 2 that everybody voted for. Yes, we probably could have taken this hour and a half episode and just done
and just
one.
talked about these
Done
2
one
movies.
matchup. Yep, we sure probably could have, but would we have had as much fun? Maybe. Let's do this. I am voting for John Wick.
I'm also voting for John Wick.
Okay. Baker.
Drew, do you have any need to wax eloquently? Or are you?
Man, I want to ask you guys like maybe some questions about the movies themselves, but
I do
don't-
too. Like that's the
Okay.
thing is that I'm not convinced either way.
What questions?
Like, who do you think has the better bad guy?
Oh, well, Die Hard.
Yeah.
I think that's a point for that one. Who do you guys think has better like side characters throughout?
You're just picking stuff that Die Hard has, I feel like.
Who are the good side characters in Die Hard besides the cop?
No, I think John Wick has better side characters.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
so,
the
too.
cop, the wife, the driver, they're all pretty
That's
good side
true. I
characters.
don't. In my head, they're not side characters. In my head, those are just like little bit parts.
Yeah.
But you're right. They're
But-
all great.
But I do think John Wick has better side characters because I think it's hard to beat Ian McShane. I think that Johnny Legs steals
And
the show.
Lance Reddick, may he
Yeah.
rest in peace.
Oh, R.I.P. Mr. Falcon.
I mean, and the
May you soar.
Theon Greyjoy is great in that one too, whatever his name is.
Who do you
the
think
dog.
has to suffer a more like visceral pain? Bruce Willis running across the grass or
grass,
John Wick?
that seems
Uh,
pretty
the-
comfy. I love running across the grass. That's feels good on my feet.
Look at
Nice.
Drew's face. Drew's face is so full of hatred right now. I've never seen him like this. His eyes just went jet black. For the listener, Drew's eyes just went jet black.
Let's
I
do
can't
this.
wait
Let's-
for the zoom in on that. Do you think
Yeah,
it was
it's-
Bruce Willis running across the glass? You or do you think it was Keanu Reeves falling off a 3-story balcony on his back?
What do you think
Yeah.
about Keanu Reeves getting like suffocated or shot? Also,
John Wick gets his shit wrecked.
Yeah,
in,
he gets-
in every
he gets
John Wick
roughed
movie,
up.
which is what
So-
makes it awesome. By the way, I
Yeah.
want to be clear: action heroes should absolutely get destroyed in their movies. It's what makes them great. I just think the main thing for all of us is that John Wick was a renaissance of the action genre. Like, for me, action was a very specific thing until John Wick came out. And then it's a completely different thing now. It's a dance. It's incredibly fun the whole time. I mean, I remember when we watched Nobody, and I know that's a different movie, but it's the same choreographer. And there are so many moments when you're watching with other people, and it's like a horror movie when you all go, ooh, because someone gets killed in an incredible way. And that happens, the whole John Wick movie is just that over and over and over again.
The amount of times that he kills somebody with like gun to them and then like reloads and then shoots them, or it's like holding somebody down and like kills other people and then comes back to that guy. It's like, I didn't know you were allowed to do that. I thought you just had to, I thought action heroes had unlimited bullets and they just had like bullet shields on themselves and that's how they survived. And John Wick was just so cool.
I think it also has the cool elements of like the modern Mission Impossibles, where Tom Cruise is like very famous for doing his own stunts now. Keanu Reeves is doing a lot of his own choreography, training, like and that kind of thing. Like he trained to do all those actual like technical gun moves that I think is pretty cool. And so there's some really cool practical effects in that, where within Die Hard itself, it is genre defining and maybe even setting, but not like, I do recognize that Die Hard is the reason why something like John Wick exists, but I do think John Wick is kind of probably our generation's Die Hard. Like, it will be something we show our kids and be like, this is what we grew up watching.
And there you have it. John Wick is the best action movie of all time. I
didn't actually cast my vote, but I did vote for John Wick, so there you go. Just
that was
for the record.
Sounds like it was a clean sweep for John Wick, and it deserves it. It deserves it. Die Hard put up a great fight, though. Man, anybody have any like final thoughts for this episode?
Let this be a thought, or let this be a rule to you action movies. You need to get Johnny Legs in more movies. You get Johnny Legs in your movie, you get a better action movie.
Evidently hire the people that were involved in Raid Redemption, because like we talked about Nobody, we talked about Raid Redemption and all of the John Wick movies. And so that's an entire bracket in and of itself that you could start, I'm sure, in 3 years, just like what's the best that this group of people has done.
Yeah, and to close out, Austin, what is your favorite episode of Not the Podcast You Deserve that you've listened to so far?
Oh, I mean, who could name just one, Could anyone? I mean, definitely not me. I'm not that strong.
None of our other guest hosts have been able to. I didn't know if you wanted to break that.
I got one.
I like the ones that I was on. I like that one, the horror movie one where Ross interrupted briefly. That was bizarre. A bizarre experience for us all.
So last Halloween, I made Drew watch like 36 horror movie previews to horror movies, and have him rank which ones were the scariest solely based on the preview. It was like an hour and a half of Drew just sitting there just being like, oh no, oh no. That's one of my favorite
I didn't like
ones.
that one.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah, you might like them. Baker, what about you? What's your favorite episode about the podcast you deserve?
The Batman one. The Batman one that I did, where we had
a really good guest host on that one.
Yeah, I did a really good job talking about the Batman. So
You did. I had nothing.
My favorite is this one. It's this one right here, because all my friends are.
All four of us being together. Yeah,
that is true.
Hey, and shockingly efficient.
The best one.
Yeah.
So
not even been 2 hours yet.
We're all older now.
Yeah. It's definitely gonna have the most bleeps out of any other ones, I think.
That can't be true. I've been on.
That's up to management. Send it up the chain. See if maybe this time you don't have to.